told me, he said, you
Hey, yo, yo. Hey, Champel. Hey. Gonna try to make this real quick, you guys, but I just kind of wanted to, show this here, quick video. The video that I'm about to show you guys, just to get it a little bit from the horse's mouth. We all still know, at least I'm still under the impression that um, attorneys Leonard, I think his name is, who is still allegedly Mr. Kelly's attorney until this up and coming um, date from the Judge Donnelly coming up somewhere around June 15th, in which she will be making her putting her answer out, whether the withdrawal would happen for the previous attorneys, Greenberg and Leonard. So that is going to be coming up here pretty soon. I'm a little sleepy, so bear with me, you guys. But I wanted to bring this to some of the people that may still be up, and there will also be a replay on the video. I do not own the rights to this video. This video is being used for Fair Act usage of education and somewhat of a little bit of entertainment over here on what's going on pertaining Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's case. Mr. Leonard came out and made his statement of what happened on the last motion that was presented, and where he was on a telecom from Chicago with the scheduled status hearing for this Thursday that just passed. So I wanted you guys to really hear from his mouth, because the whole story was just not out there. So, it just brought like some more questions to me, like what everything else does out here. It comes out and a bunch of questions comes behind it. So it's a very interesting video. And at the end of the video, you will clearly hear him say that I guess that there was an investigator or something that was somewhere around or near Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, where they, or he or she, because we don't know, and I was shocked to even hear that there was someone that had went in allegedly and saw a black box up on the wall of where this meeting was being taken place, where he took back information to one of R. Kelly's attorneys, Nicole Becker. Well, and then came out the assumptions that Mr. Kelly was being recorded. And, they were saying in the shower, near the shower. But according to Mr. Leonard, it just sounds like that they may have been in a room. So after hearing that and hearing these different stories out here about he was being, recorded in the shower, then you have another attorney saying different things, and all of these things are being heard in a court of law in front of a judge. It's like, okay, we can clearly see that or hear that there is a bunch of even lies possibly going on within the attorneys, because they are in somewhat of a mudslinging battle out here about the R. Kelly situation. You're going to hear Mr. Leonard give his narrative of what had happened, because he was on the phone call. He will clearly tell you with other attorneys, and he is not aware of why someone would come out and say that Mr. Kelly was being recorded, because everyone knows that that would be against the law, and it would also bring prejudice of whether Mr. Robert Kelly case could have gotten thrown out of court just based on that one, because it would have been a serious technicality in his case had that been done. I'm going to go play the video, and let's just talk about it for about 15 minutes. I may stop the video here and there because I may have a question and ask you guys, what do you think about it? So let's get it rolling. Let's get it rolling, you guys. Let me do this, see if I can come on. Nope, not yet. Hold on. It's like I can get it going at one point, and then the darn thing go shut off. Hold on, because I'm cycling over here. I'm cycling. Give me a second. Come on, don't do this. I don't know, yo. It might be you, because we're never up this late, like, when I have to go to work. So now it wants to cycle. So it might have me restart the stream, you guys. I don't know. I'll see. I just had everything ready to go. Maybe I just talked too long. I should have just came on and popped the freaking video. Give me a second. Give it a second. It's kind of very important to it. And I just think that you guys should see this so that you can hear what attorney say, because he said that he was on the call and everything, but I was shocked. I was like, what? There was a private investigator somewhere. So he has one hired. He doesn't give the name of who it was. So that's something interesting to know. But, we'll see. Come on, don't do this. This is a sign, you guys, of me telling me, your butt should be sleeping. This wakes me up for some strange reason. So, come on. Let's see if that'll do it. Hey, Tammy. Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm sorry to bother you guys. And you didn't have to really come on, because you could have caught it in a replay. But let me come on here and see if it's up. There we go. Hello, everybody. I don't have my green screen up, so you're going to see all of that, that stuff on the screen. But let's see from the horse's mouth what he has to say, and I'll stop it because I do have some questions as he speaks, right? I do not own the rights to this video, so I don't have a moderator in here right now, so I have to put that disclaimer up, and I'm using this on Fair Act usage of knowledge, education, somewhat of entertainment, circumventing around Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's case. And that is it, and that is all. So let me see if I can get it going. Hold on. Okay, so let me go back to here. Let me close this one out. Get this back up. Let me open this up. Let me get that open. Like I say, I'm sorry to bother you guys, but I was going to drop it. So, okay, let me see if I can share the screen. I'm not sure how long it is. It's not that long, though. It's not that long.
B and C with entertainer R. Kelly. He's still
bars at this hour. Now, at a hearing in New York Thursday, a federal court judge denied the singer's bond request so he could prepare for his sex trafficking trial next month with his two new attorneys.
Thank you.
Now, R. Kelly is accused of running an enterprise to recruit young women and girls for sex. The 54-year-old denied abusing anyone.
See,
Judge
it
Ann
will
Donnelly
not let me
assured
share.
R. Kelly and his legal team that they could meet at the jail 7 days a week if they wanted in terms of preparing for that trial next month.
Okay,
Since R. Kelly's mandatory quarantine is
I'm just going to have to let you guys listen to it. It won't let me play the video, so I apologize, but listen carefully.
Will start as planned on August 9th, but opening statements have now been pushed back about a week to August 18th, and instead of a right after a jury is picked. Now, R. Kelly apparently did not address the court at the hearing, except to exchange greetings with the judge. Now, here joining us to give us more insight is the man behind the case. Not R. Kelly, but his attorney, Michael Leonard. He's part of that hearing, and he joins us again. Thank you for joining us, sir. You're one of several attorneys representing R. Kelly, who's facing multiple charges.
Well, I won't be able to share you a name of an investigator either because he doesn't mention the name of the investigator. So
Thursday, and we understand you joined by phone from Chicago. Why do you think, or better yet, why was R. Kelly's bond denied? And did Judge Ann Donnelly give a reason? If so, what was it?
Yeah, well, it was interesting. It was kind of a bond hearing that wasn't. It was sort of extraordinary from that standpoint. You know, traditionally in a federal court bond hearing, you spend your time arguing about why the person is not a flight risk and why they're not a danger to the community. This took on a different tenor because the reasons cited by counsel for the bond were issues that the judge was concerned about and really wanted to address with the counsel who filed the motion to make sure that he was really sort of serious about what he was saying. And, you know, she sort of started out by questioning him about whether he was really serious that he believed the MCC Chicago had been eavesdropping on his FaceTime meetings with counsel and his in-person meetings. And so that, because that's a real serious issue. If it were true, you know, you could get a case dismissed. And, you know, when that happens at any jail, anywhere, that's, you know, cause for alarm and cause for overturning, you know, hundreds of cases. So she was sort of taken aback by that allegation. And, you know, really the only response that the counsel had was that my other attorney, Ms. Blank Becker, told me that she thought it was true. And really, obviously, the judge was not pleased because if it were true, it would be something that would lead to criminal charges and that sort of thing. And then the other issue.
Who would face criminal charges, Attorney Leonard, if it were true?
Oh, yeah. Well, if a jail or prison was tape recording meetings between attorneys and defendants or FaceTime meetings, they would be clearly federally prosecuted for doing that. So it's an extraordinary thing that really almost never happens. And if you want to make an allegation like that, you better make sure that it's true. And that's kind of what the judge was pointing out.
So I guess my first question that I had to ask myself after listening to this and knowing that all of these people are attorneys, they are went to school for it, they got degrees for it, they have been attorneys for, I guess, many years before they had even taken on Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's case. And I'm speaking about all of these attorneys that is on his case, because right now, until after July 15th is when you will hear the denouncing of Greenberg and Leonard, and not before then. So right now, he still has 4 attorneys. To my understanding, the Judge Donnelly is going to get to the bottom of what has happened with the I'm going to say conflict of interest, because that's kind of what it is with Nicole Becker and Azrael and Joy. She wants to know if there was any type of affiliation or misleading of her practice with those 2 ladies. And that's, I'm going to say allegedly, but I'm going to stand on my what I think, even though I have to put allegedly on there. And until then, she gets to the bottom of it to make sure that there's no conflict of interest going on between Nicole Becker and those 2 young ladies. To my understanding, that is when she will move forward and give the okay to allow these attorneys, Greenberg and Leonard, to withdraw themselves from the case. And the way things are going, I don't think that she's going to be hesitant or prolong it after she find out what she needs to know about Nicole Becker and Azrael and Joy. She will move forward and allow them to move on off the case for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. That's my understanding there with that situation, as far as the conflict of interest and making a decision of them to move forward. I guess that we just have to make sure that we have to believe, not make sure, we have to believe that there was absolutely nothing going on to cause a conflict of interest between Nicole and the 2 young ladies, so that she can move forward. But to my understanding, there is a standby attorney as well for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, in case things take a different turn out here, because it can happen, because we've seen a lot of turns go on out here. So let's continue to listen to Michael Leonard as he gives you his narrative of what happened on Thursday's scheduled appearance for some of the attorneys, but he was not there. He was on a call from Chicago. So let's finish listening to it. What up, everybody in the chat? What up? What up? What up?
To the attorney.
Got it. Okay. We also know that the judge also kept that August 9th court date, which gives the new attorneys very little time, as we discussed yesterday. I think the word we were trying to pronounce was Herculean efforts to get up to speed. See, I came back strong today. I got it right.
You did. You did.
We both practice, exactly. Yeah. So now they literally have to race to get up to speed, but they did push back opening statements. Does this help his new defense team prepare now? And will you be joining? We also know that you requested to be removed from the case, you and attorney Steve Greenberg.
Well, we won't be joining, but keep in mind, up until a couple of weeks ago, you keep characterizing them as a new defense team, but Mr. Farinella, Ms. Blank Becker, they've been involved for more than a year, maybe a year and a half. So they were participants in all the FaceTime calls 3 times a week with Mr. Kelly, and they had the opportunity if they wanted to.
So I have to stop it there, because he stated that that man's name is so hard for me to pronounce. I want to call him Marty, attorney Marty, but that would be not respectable. But I am going to learn how to pronounce this man's name. And attorney Becker, he says that they had been there a year and some change. So it's just puzzling, like a year and some change. And I know it takes quite some time to figure out, who people really are and what they are up to and all of those things. So what I just, you know, it just behooves me that it took so long, even though it's like the public out here, the supporters for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly felt that some things just wasn't going right based off of Greenberg and Leonard just not winning motions up to our expectability. We wanted to see something being done. We wanted to see Mr. Kelly get released from jail. We wanted to see something, a response to what are you going to do about this man getting into an altercation with a guy that had a face full of tattoos, and where did he come from, and how did he just walk away from this, and where was his charges? That I've not read anything of any charge of the tattoo man being brought up against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Why is that not talking about? Shouldn't there be a case of what do you call it, abuse or what attempt what on Mr. Kelly? I saw none of that. This man ended up just getting transported over to another facility where he was only issued life in prison for some other things that he had done, unless they secretly tacked on some months or something for him having this fight with Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. I didn't see any of that. I don't see nothing in no motions that's, where's Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly lawsuit or something against the tattoo people? What happened to that? I'm curious to know about that part. And that has my question to Leonard, Mr. Leonard and Mr. Greenberg. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I did I say June? Did I say June? I meant July. I'm half sleepy over here, Latonya. So I got to get up like in 4 hours and go do a 10-hour job tomorrow. But my grandson is up, so I can't go to sleep until he goes to sleep, which is usually about 3:30 or 4 or 5. So I'm up. I might as well get dressed, no sleep, and go right back to work and pull it like a trooper, right? So, but that's what I mean. But I'm going to bag it up a little bit because you said July 15th. July 15th is the actual date that I got a hold of, saying that is when she will be going back in to possibly make her decision on the withdrawal for Greenberg and Leonard. But I'm suspecting that the 15th will be the hearing to deal with this conflict of interest of Azarel and Joy and Becker. That's what I'm suspecting the 15th will be. Then I'm going to also suspect that it'll be a few days kind of after that, and where she'll go ahead and put the pen to the paper and say, okay, you guys are released. But it can be possibilities. They may not finish up that day. She may not finish up that day, speaking of Donnelly, with trying to find out that there was no conflict of interest with the two young ladies and Becker. So she may need another day. She may need another day like that. So, people just not all the way prepared to where now she'll say, well, okay, you know what? Here it is. It's like July 20th. She's going to stamp dated and everything that the Leonard and Greenberg can now actually be removed. But if she doesn't not make the decision about Becker and the two young ladies, it could be possible that she may say, well, you know what, I'm going to still work on this here, but she has that standby attorney as well to, be there for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, hey, if needed. So I don't know, but according to this, he did state that the trial will go as forward starting August 9th. I'll bag it up a little bit so that we can hear him clearly on this.
A couple of weeks ago, you keep characterizing them as a new defense team, but Mr. Farinella, Ms. Blank Becker, they've been involved for more than a year, maybe a year and a half. So they were participants in all the FaceTime calls 3 times a week with Mr. Kelly. and they had the opportunity, if they wanted to go meet with him in person in Chicago. So they're really not new to the case at all. They've been with the case, since really almost its inception. The only new person is the trial lawyer that the two remaining lawyers brought in a trial lawyer because, as we've talked about, they just don't have federal criminal trial experience at all. So they brought in Mr. Kanek to essentially try the case. So we won't be joining that team. And, I think next week when the judge finishes what we talked about a couple times, this Curcio hearing, then she will allow our motion to withdraw. As we talked about previously, it's a procedural step. She can't let us out until she vets with Mr. Kelly in court to his face whatever conflicts might exist with Ms. Blank Becker, and also give his court-appointed counsel from New York the chance to meet with Mr. Kelly in person and explain those potential conflicts to him, which I understand that meeting is taking place today.
Now, you mentioned if a jail, was recording. Let me start over. Mr. Kelly assumed or he felt that someone was listening to his conversations. Now with the judge saying that they can essentially meet every single day. Do you think that will happen? And does it still run the risk of him not feeling comfortable being open and honest and better yet transparent with his legal team while still meeting in jail?
Well, just keep in mind, it wasn't Mr. Kelly that thought his meetings or calls were being recorded. I mean, I was on dozens of those calls, right? And I also met with him in person. I had no belief ever that they were being recorded. Okay, what happened?
So let me ask the chat, do you guys believe that? Because he said that it wasn't Mr. Kelly that prompted that investigation, that started this whole recording thing. He said that. What do you guys think? Do you think that Mr. Kelly was capable to be looking up alongside a wall at this alleged black box to say, and make this phone call to who he needed to make it to say, hey, I think that I am being recorded? Or what do you guys think? Let's bag it up and hearing what Mr. Leonard said again.
Thought his meetings or calls were being recorded.
And does it still run the risk of him not feeling comfortable being open and honest and better yet transparent with his legal team while still meeting in jail?
Well, just keep in mind, it wasn't Mr. Kelly that thought his meetings or calls were being recorded. I mean, I was on dozens of those calls, right? And I also met with him in person. I had no belief ever that they were being recorded. Okay, what happened was an investigator from suburban New York went to the jail. He had never been to the...
An investigator from suburban New York had went into the jail. Now, I'm not saying that he went into the jail to see Mr. Kelly or they had a meeting and this is who he was sitting with for questioning or something. It could have been any investigator that just kind of popped up and ended up in an area or so and was probably just looking around and decided to take this information back to his other attorneys, Nicole Becker or whatever, to insinuate that it was a possibility that Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly was being recorded. But Leonard tells you guys that he was on that phone call. So I don't know. Hello, Alita. So you say he may have, you mean his state of mind, I'm sure it's all over the place. I bet he paying attention to everything at this point. Okay, I'm going to bag it up a minute for the people that just come in.
Meetings or calls were being recorded. I mean, I was on dozens of those calls, right? And I also met with him in person. I had no belief ever that they were being recorded. Okay, what happened was an investigator from suburban New York went to the jail. He had never been to the MCC Chicago in his whole life. And that was in like May, right? And he saw there was like kind of a box on the wall in the attorney meeting room, which in days of yesteryear, they used that to have cameras so that, people could appear in court by video. And they don't use that anymore. There's no cameras in those boxes, right? But the investigator who was unfamiliar with the facility assumed that, oh, wow, maybe they have the capacity to tape us, which they don't, and they would never do because it would be incredibly stupid. It would be the quickest means to get a case dismissed in federal court that you can possibly imagine. And all the guards at the jail would get federally prosecuted. So there's no concern that he was being taped in Chicago. And obviously all four of the attorneys were involved in all those FaceTime calls. There was no taping going on. And it wasn't really Mr. Kelly that brought the concern forward. It was that investigator who was just unfamiliar with the workings of Chicago MCC. Likewise, now Mr. Kelly is in the MCC in New York, in Brooklyn. There's no possibility that they're going to try to tape his meetings with the lawyers. That will never happen. And again, if it did, the attorneys will probably welcome it because they get the case dismissed immediately. So there's no concern there. And the good thing is Mr. Kanik, the new trial lawyer, will have the chance, if he wants, to meet with R. Kelly, every day of the week, including Saturday or Sunday, 8 hours a day. But, realistically, of course, he's not going to spend all his time doing that. When you're preparing for trial, you're going to be keenly focused on, developing your cross-examinations and getting ready for trial in that respect. But it is good that the judge is entering an order requiring that facility in Brooklyn to give them essentially unfettered access to Mr. Kelly. But remember, the other two attorneys have had that kind of access for a year, but it's important for Mr. Kanik, who's really going to try the case, to have that access to get the...
So somebody needs to explain to me, why is it that there is some attorneys that are saying that they didn't have access to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, and you have the other attorneys right here, Mr. Leonard, saying that they did have access, that they were speaking to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly 3 times or so a week, maybe not physically, but they were able to have some contact with him. So it kind of, the way they put these messages out here is what caused a lot of confusion in the streets out here, because we have a lot of people thinking that, oh my God, he has never met with them. He has not had time with his attorneys. He has not did this. But then Leonard comes out and said that they have. So you guys can see that where all of this confusion can come from. It's just crazy. So I guess because I believe that this was also mentioned to Judge Donnelly. So I guess that she would have to try to decipher who the hell is lying to her and who's not. And that can take quite some time, but I want to hear him say this again. I almost said a word, but I'm gonna be nice.
Unfettered access to Mr. Kelly. But remember, the other two attorneys have had that kind of access for a year, but it's important for Mr. Kanik, who's really going to try the case, to have that access to get the relationship with Robert Kelly going, to understand Robert's insight into all these witnesses who are going to testify against him. So it's extremely important that Mr. Kanik have the time with R. Kelly, and it'll be quite useful.
Attorney Leonard, yes or no? We know you're going to be removed from this case, but he has other cases as well. Will you be representing him in those cases?
That's something we're still talking about. So we don't have a decision on that. We're taking that under advisement, and we're not worried about that right now. The biggest thing for Robert is this case in New York, which is a winnable case. It's based upon a strange legal theory that doesn't fit R. Kelly's band, which is called the RICO statute. So this should be the focus, this case, winning this case, and not worrying about anything else.
Got it. Attorney Leonard, thank you for joining us.
He says that he's not worried about the other case right now. And she asked him, are you still planning on taking on the other case, which we all know if he has to come back to Chicago. Do you guys think that they will still be the attorneys for the state case? What do you guys think? You think that they would ask to be removed from the state, or does removing them from the federal automatically removes them from the state? Have you guys heard anything about the Becker and the new attorneys taking over the state case as well? Hey, I'm just the messenger and just wanted to come on and just sit with you guys just for a minute until my grandson falls asleep. So interesting, huh? But you said, I saw, what was her? I saw the message. You says that, wait a minute, let me get back to it. I see you, Jason. I saw you. You said that, okay, you say he may have, and I mean the state of, okay, I read yours. Put nothing past anyone. Papoose, Lisa Van Allen, lie, sparkle, lie. Yep, we already determined that like 2 years ago. So we did. We did. So he said himself before the holidays that he wasn't using the video messaging as he should have been to talk to Robert. One Peppers. You already know who lied. Got you. Donnelly has that on record from Steve's mouth during a hearing in October. So the room needs to be swept from any meetings. You say, nope, haven't heard it. So exactly, never trust no one. So it's a bunch of crazy things going on, you know. I was over on Sylvia just for a minute because I had dozed off for a second, right before the grandbaby got dropped off. So, and I had to make one comment, and it was a little bit off of what Dome had said, right? So, and I was just trying to understand it because I like to ask questions sometime as well because I don't know all the answers. And if people are bringing up a certain topic, sometimes a particular light bulb will ring in your head, right? So before I go to sleep, because I don't like to take any of this to sleep with me at all, you guys. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to apologize for my behavior this morning at all because I have to start standing my ground out here, and I have to run my channel the way I choose to run my channel and not let people feel like I'm like a rug and you can just walk all over me. I am human just like everybody else out here, and the allegations and the defamation of character and stuff, a lot of it, I let it roll because it's petty and it doesn't mean anything to me when I'm out here just supporting Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. But to do all the dirt and the mudslinging, like what they're doing in the court of law right now, with the attorneys, it just looks so dirty, so petty, you know, so toxic that all it does is just keep up a bunch of confusion out here. And it's something that I know that it's just not going to stop because they're at the fourth quarter where I like to call the last man standing, as if there was $1 million reward at the end of this rainbow. And I say rainbow because at the end of the rainbow, there is usually a good old pot of gold, and that pot of gold is for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. And that's how I look at it. But I asked the question in the chat over there. The topic at that time that I asked the question was about Michael Avenatti. And I'm not sure of the answer on that, which I'm going to find an answer for it tomorrow. You could best to believe that, right? And Dom them in the chat was hitting on how Michael Avenatti has now been arrested and sentenced to his crime that he did, which was the extortion against Michael Avenatti. And we all should be aware that Michael Avenatti also has another case that he has to come up against, and that's the one with Stormy, the ex, you know, the girlfriend thing, Stormy or whatever her name is, right? And it's because at 1 minute, you know, he was out there helping her. Well, in turn, it turned out that he was like extorting and taking money from her as well. So he has that case to fight. But Dome and the rest of the chat kind of went on that since Michael Avenatti is now gotten himself into trouble, where does that stand for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly? And we had learned that Michael Avenatti had brought forth some additional alleged tapes of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly from people whereabouts. People hands had been on them. People could have edited. People could have done anything to those videotapes. And those tapes got turned over to Kim Fox. And that was Michael Avenatti's words on his live, on his video that he did, right? So after Dom had asked, had started to finishing on his touches about Michael Avenatti, I had just the one question, and I was like, well, if the tapes were turned over to Kim Fox, and these tapes were possibly already submitted in to evidence, and we know that all of this evidence and things is what they put together to create a discovery. The majority of this, I believe, was presented in front of a grand juror. So as Dom Nim kept talking, about it, and I just got this light bulb going off in my head. And I'm saying, well, according to Dom Nim, Dom, and the chat over on Sylvia's, they touched on the fact that because now that Michael Avenatti is a criminal and would be prosecuted to the extent of the law, anything that he had touched and talked to or whatever should be possibly inadmissible in a courtroom, right? It shouldn't matter. If he goes away, everything goes away. So that's the message that I got from Dom, but I still got this light bulb really going off in my head. Well, how long will it take for them to bring that up in the courtroom to say, nothing for Michael Avenatti will be permissible in court? If these things that he has turned over with this alleged stuff on it about Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly is already in the discovery package to use against him in a court of law, what do they wait on for them to present it in the court of law and then stand up during the debate of the prosecuting and the defending to say, that was presented by Michael Avenatti, we're going to request for that to move? How do you guys think that would play out? It's already been given to Kim Fox. Kim Fox then already, allegedly, according to her, had showed and given up everything that she has. And this is how they got this grand old indictment, right? The indictment on Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. So I was just curious with my old busy light bulb, how would that work? How would that work in court? They just can't go in there now and say, well, look, give us everything Michael Avenatti has given you. It's not valid. It's non-void. How does that work? I don't know. But I am going to be looking some things up because now I'm really curious about that information. Will there be a motion from the new attorney? What's his name? Shannon. Pronounce his name for me, you guys. Pronounce his name, the new attorney. Will you see a motion in court to say, hey, we would like for that one, and that one, and that one, and anything that was transpired between Michael Avenatti and Kim Fox that to be displayed to create more evidence against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly? We'd like that to, be thrown in the garbage or burned up or whatever the case. How will that play out? How will that play out? And now that I shared that with you guys and it's off of my brain, I can get my 3 hours of sleep and go back to work. Good thing, though, I get off about 2:30, 3:30, or 4:30 tomorrow, so I won't be at work that long. So you say, hey, Sparkle has a baby boy by R. Kelly. I don't care about how many children R. Kelly has. There's nothing about knowing that information. It's relevant to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's case at all. You said, yeah, well, you know what, Lisa? I thought that I heard Angelo even said that that they disassociated themselves with him after he had received the charges for attempting to extort Nike. I could have sworn that he did an IG on it, like, they don't have anything that they disassociated themselves with that. Who was Faith attorney, you guys? Who was Faith attorney? You know, I think about that, and Gloria allegedly was supposed to not be an attorney of 4 of these wicked witnesses out here and everything, like, who's Faith new attorney, you guys? Who? It's crazy, right? So I don't know. It was, and it was a great live. It was very interesting. And she went on to talk about some things that had happened at court as they was arriving to court and possibly as they were leaving court, on how they had to stand out there to have their pictures taken and then blasted all over the YouTube sector, and where the only thing that we got out of that is just grown people being symbolic and defaming people for, like, ordinary ass people. You can't even go to court. You can't breathe around here. You can't do anything because somebody wants to tarnish every little thing that you do, and it's starting to stop. It really is. You say a lot of things will be thrown out, if you ask me, and this whole case needs to be thrown out. Yes, never. Yes, I agree with you pretty much on that. I do. But yeah. So I don't know, you guys. I just wanted to share the video with you guys. Hearing it from Attorney Leonard's mouth. I understand that a lot of people are not liking the things that Greenberg and Leonard is saying or doing. But with me, I kind of refrain from defaming and calling attorneys and things names like that, because they're not off the case yet. And I think until there's a date put out, and it's like, okay, I don't know about calling them all of those names, because you're still talking about Mr. Kelly's attorney until it's actually final. Why do Greenberg did what he did when people sat out and read a document that he submitted out there? Well, it was because legally he was still Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's attorney. What he put out, did it look good? No, to people out here. But I don't think that I've ever seen an attorney that practiced law for so long, and because it's just one person that they are representing, that they would do so much detrimental damage that will harm themselves to have their law license pulled and be disbarred. I don't see that, you guys. I do see some things, of many things, of what Mr. Greenberg and Leonard could have done to show the people that, we're working as hard as we can, not being affiliated with anybody out here on the social media, and handle his case very professionally. And paperwork, as we all know, when it comes to a legal aspect of it, everything has a time frame on it. So when you go and missing deadlines and things like that, and especially if you got 2 people working on this, yeah, I kind of started looking side eye on that. But they're not the only attorney that missed a deadline. Kelly had an attorney back in his other case where he was being sued or sold to pay the $4 million. And that attorney as well failed him by filing a paperwork 7 months later behind that $4 million. Had it been attorney on schedule with timely submitting paperwork, just maybe Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly would have won the judgment that was against him. So he had lost that one as well. It's like there's nobody right now that has really showed anything of getting him out. I did hear Sylvia say that it wasn't Judge Donnelly that put the indefinitely in the paperwork. I will be picking the paperwork back up. And if it's not her, because I did say that, I think, it was her that said that. But Sylvia cleaned it up and said that no, it was written up, I guess, by the other peoples. And, she had nothing to do with putting the indefinitely in there. But she also read that document. And at some point, after her reading that document and being acknowledged about that document, she read that word up in there. And she, at the same time, probably could have said, hey, let's go back and amend this. I need you guys to, let's change that up, because we want to give him that right to have the possibility of parole. So that's kind of how I look at it, Sylvia, when I said what I said, because she is having a say so on whether if he can get a bond or not. And I'm pretty sure she came across that document and read it and saw that word indefinite up in that paperwork. So that bothered me. And I felt like she's sitting there with the final say whether if Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly can come home. And if that was the case, she should have directed whoever wrote it up. I have the paperwork. I have to go through all of my files now. I just got so tired of pulling paperwork and printing paperwork and trying to file things everywhere and stuff like that. Why wasn't it sent back to be amended? That was that one line in there that needed that change to that paperwork, with the possibility of him getting a bond on there. And I felt like she could have had control over that. Say, no, that's not suitable. That's not constitutional. We can't just hold him, according to you guys, against his right without being convicted of anything, but we're going to indefinitely hold him here till trial starts. I had a problem with that. So I stand correct on that. And Sylvia corrected it and said that it wasn't Donnelly that put that in there. So I'll clean that up until I read this paperwork. Until I read this paperwork, we'll go with what Sylvia said. And I hope that it doesn't read differently, and I hope it's not a document that was from her. So we'll see about that, and I'm going to be getting to that hopefully this weekend. But I don't know, you guys. This is a sticky situation. Yeah. Hopefully the new attorney will be able to get in and speak with Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, and Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly can get everything out by trusting this new attorney. I'm just curious of what he would be saying, even though it's none of my business because I'm not in that courtroom. With Nicole Becker and them being around for a year and some change right now, what would be said differently that he had told her of what he's got to share with the new attorney that is on board with them. So hopefully, and like I say, I pray everything turns out for the best for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. But all of this other stuff that's out there, I have no interest in it. Like that, to be around such just, I don't know, toxic people, you know. And then I heard it just out of amusement before I go, just to amuse myself. It was Sylvia was like, you know, well, how come everybody ain't down there at that courtroom? Well, I don't think that they have a courtroom big enough for everybody to be coming down there. So I think that I am going to share this one last thing of what happened in the courtroom downtown Chicago. So give me a second. I'll read it with you guys. And then I am going to retire. And I hope that you guys have a beautiful morning coming up like I usually do. But I'm going to be so sleepy, you guys, tomorrow. Holy cow. Like now, so bad. Let me see if I can get it up on the screen so we can read it together so that you guys can see what else happened downtown yesterday. So give me a second here. How y'all doing? It's like what? It's 1 o'clock over here just about. What time you guys are sitting at? Huh? What time are you guys at over there? Okay, let me see if I can share this with you guys. Okay, should be up on the screen now, I believe. Oh my God, for some reason, I am just having trouble. It will not let me share anything over here on Zoom. I was okay at first, but I have permission to share and it just will not let me share it, you guys. And okay, so we all around the same time. That's what's up. I'm going to be sleepy. Y'all going to be sleepy with me. So I don't know why. For some reason, it just refused to let me share anything on my Zoom. Maybe I'm banned. I don't know. Well, this one here says, just to clarify, the judge said that she will more than likely approve the withdrawal of Greenberg and Leonard, but not until July 15th hearing, meaning the hearing about the conflict of interest between Nicole and the two young ladies. She wants to make sure the attorney she appointed to advise Rob has the opportunity to discuss with him the conflict of interest Nicole brings. From what she said in the courtroom, the conflict of interest is Nicole gave legal advice to one, possibly two witnesses in the case when they were already represented by counsel. Yes, I am not saying it. She said one, possibly two witnesses, but one witness could be for prosecution, Azarel, one for defense, Joy. I don't know, but what I do know is she didn't want to let those attorneys go until she knew for sure that Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, and it says Rob here, was aware of everything. So I just wanted to put that out there, you guys, just to show you guys what will be allegedly happening around July 15th hearing, which is going to be pertaining to two different subjects going on: Greenberg and Leonard's withdrawal, along with the allegations of Nicole giving legal advice to two witnesses, one being a prosecutor's and one being for the defense. So once they get that all cleared up, allegedly everything will be proceeding as expected. So I don't know. I want to read this. Well, they just have to cover their butts. They don't want anything to go wrong. Wow. So she can give time for her advisor, but not his lawyers. Who said that they were witnesses at the time they spoke with Nicole? I just want to read that out loud, you guys. That's all. Didn't mean anything. So I don't know, I don't know, you guys. I'm with you guys. I'm on the outside looking in, and the case is very interesting to be following. It's very knowledgeable. We can now wait for another big case like this, and we should all be able to relate to how the case is going, what is what in a case. So that's why I indulge myself in it, because I've truly learned a whole lot about this. I've learned to, which I didn't read to, but a lot of speculations. You really have to keep your ears and eyes open for speculations, and a lot of speculations, you guys, just to give you a hint, they don't end with a period. You feel what I'm saying? Hey, people just blurting stuff out, just like how Jason did. He wanted to talk about somebody with sparkled and had some more kids, and one is speculations. And I don't fall for all freaking speculations, because speculations is just as equivalent to your feelings. And I'm not in this for your feelings. I don't really pay attention to people that be saying, I feel this and I feel that and I feel this. That go in one ear and out the other ear, because it's not about the feelings. It's about the law. It's about the law. So if people can come out and be rebuttaling on, you feel this, well, then apply the law to it as well. Show it in the law why you should be feeling this third type of way. Because it is what it is. Tammy, Linnea, SW, Never Trust, Jason, Sandra Hudson. Let me read yours. I think that we are witnessing is strategy. I do too. I agree with you on that one, Sandra. I really do. Because attorneys move in strategy from both sides, the prosecutor and the defense. They all have, it's a game play. And we from the outside looking in, not really knowing how this is all going to play out. So maybe they're still waiting on more people to jump out the closet to keep telling a bunch of stuff on themselves and showing how toxic that they can be. I don't think that they're watching much of the social media to play his case out anymore. I think from the very beginning that they were, but I don't think right now that I don't think they pay much attention to it anymore. I think that they're ready to get the ball going right now. I do. So, hearing them calling out that, you're going to end up in an indictment and you're going to be going to jail and, you're this and you're, you're an agent and, you're a hair salonist and beauty, whatever. The case is big, but it's not going to get this imagining big like what these people have portrayed it to be out here. There's nothing at the end of the rainbow but Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly getting his due process and coming up out of the jail. That's the only thing that I see at the end of this rainbow. I don't see any of this other stuff that they have been speculating out here um, to play out in the courtroom. And you guys should know who I'm talking about. All of these toxic people that you hear with their speculations and things, and finger pointing and things like that. No, 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 no. So you say if he's still on that case, you say we better leave it alone. I'm just saying, Sandra, I think until a final date is on it, but Sandra, who's to say? I don't know. What if they come back and be like, they still on the state case? What if those two attorneys are still on that state case? What do you do? What do you do? But it's Mr. Robinson Kelly, just because he wants them to withdraw themselves, or they chose to withdraw themselves from the federal case. Well, what about the state case? Does that apply to them as well? I don't know. And I'm asking you, Sandra. I'm not sure. Once they fire you, are you fired all the way around? Don't touch it. I don't want you to do nothing with nothing. How does that work? What if there's a contract? What if, because you have to sign a contract with your attorney? What if there's a contract? I mean, will there possibly be a breach of contract when it comes to the state one? We don't even know what the agreeable words are between attorney and a client, and there has to be one. Oh, it has to be one. Yeah. It's all their funds paid up, for this whatever service that they claimed that they did for Mr. Robinson Kelly. Has that been taken care of? Are they going to be able to close this client and attorney a relationship out and just walk away without it being any aftermath, a earthquake behind it, a tsunami? Well, will we see in the paper that, oh my God, Mr. Kelly is being sued by Greenberg for 8 point something million? We don't know. We don't know these things. You never have me coming out here speculating on anything about that, but they have contracts, just like Sony and Mr. Robinson Kelly. There's contracts into play. And I don't even know one person. I can't call out one person because I haven't, and I done signed contracts, even to my home, to my mortgage loan. I can't tell you I sat down and read every single paper, because when you signing a mortgage, right? Shit, they got about 20 pens out, and all of you, they just want you to sign right here, sign right here, sign right here, sign right here. Well, that's a binding contract between me and a mortgage lender, right? Yeah, I don't know one person that ever sat up and read a whole stack of goddamn papers. You'd be like, okay, you get the bullet points, right? Oh, okay, well, that looks good. Okay, all right. Sometimes you got to have another attorney to read over what an attorney is having you to sign. You said that you don't believe that. You don't believe that. And we don't have the answers to the mystery of life. I don't have them, Sandra. I promise you, I have no answers to the mystery of life. And one thing that I just do not like to do is I don't like speculating. I like asking the questions, about it, because those are just the light bulbs in my head. Well, what if? And wow, just so that it doesn't get left behind. You know what I mean? It's like turning the burner just quite on low. Let's just, I'm going to keep this one here kind of tucked right here just to see, And so like come out and be like, oh my God, and that's just me. That's just me. You say they got to find another way to set them free, because the man's back has been against the wall. So they had to come up with a strategy. Yes, ma'am. And I think that they know what they doing after today. Yeah, but you got to believe, though, a little bit, Sandra, that there's no attorney. I don't think that would throw away their whole livelihood and their practices, and just boldly in front of a judge to be doing toxic and crazy stuff. I don't know. I just don't see that. And besides Michael Avenatti, of course, we know he, did what he did, whatever, then of course he has this situation with Stormy, over there where 1 minute, they were, probably humping a hump, and Michael Avenatti seems to appear to have gotten his panties in a bunch because Trump had some, affiliations with her or whatever the case may be. Seems like that Michael ended up getting a little bit jealous or whatever, and he wanted to spew out here, and everybody else did, how Trump was, with someone underage as well, and things like that. And when you see two men kind of fighting back and forth about that, 9 times out of 10, it was about a woman. Well, then things flipped around after Michael Avenatti attempted to sue Trump and do a whole bunch of stuff and reveal what was going on with Russia and things like that. And I don't get into this political stuff, y'all. But that don't mean I don't know a little bit about it. But then it turns out, well, how 1 minute you with Stormy and you doing her, and then you go tell on Trump and all this stuff, and then now you over there with an extortion case with with her. That's crazy as hell. Cause she kind of realized that he didn't even give her all the freaking money that she was supposed to been having, which of course at the way we would look at it as if, dang, dude, you was pimping this girl and you only gave her 20 and you made 5,000. You know what I'm saying? So, kind of like that. And I guess she just got upset about that there. It's like, nah, I'm about to come after you. But can you imagine the feeling of that? Like, I'm sure that they've been sleeping together and stuff, right? Like, I was loving on you, dude. Now I got to sue you. Now I got to sue you. So I don't know, you guys. I don't know, but it is what it is. The word on the curb out here is something about Michael Avenatti might not even do a day in jail because he got all of this money. He can't possibly have all this damn money and extorting Nike out of that. What was it, 25 million? Well, don't you think that they gonna want some of their millions back? I'm just saying though, how he got all this money. He might as well just go and write the check, and that's that. And not only that, you guys, it got deep with old Michael Avenatti. And then what did he do? Take on Angelo Nim case pro bono? They sex shop wasn't selling no dildos no more. They couldn't even get R. Kelly's song on one. What, they ain't got no money either. Well, what? I was like, this whole thing is just, it's just bizarre. It's bizarre. They call me weird. There's some weird shit here going on around this, though. You said that you wanted to ask, is there a whole video on the deposition that Bill Cosby did, and how can I find it? They're not. Are you? I don't think so. Sandra. I don't think so. Not yet. So I don't think so. I really don't think so. But you know what? That's a good question. So let me write that down, because I just might be, when I'm bored at work tomorrow, I might have time to look that up. Wait, I gotta find a pen. Stop moving the screen. I'm gonna pin that up because I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. So that's interesting. You say, look at the time they gave him, and that's why they treat people. Yeah, that's true though. But I want to. You're right. You say, is there a whole video on the deposition? I don't know. And it would be nice to see it though, Sandra. It would be definitely nice to see that. I got one more, since we hanging out, you guys, and I'm gonna probably be walking around at work like a zombie anyway. I kind of want to change the topics, you guys. And shout out R. Kelly, you guys. Shout out to, that was BNC that published that video with attorney Leonard on it. So I have to put some acknowledgement on that video as well, because that was not my video. The video was only used for little bit of educational programming over here for the R. Kelly supporters. That's it, and that is all. Free R. Kelly, so I'm on that. I'm not going to be out here, going back and forth on whether if I know him or not. It's irrelevant for me to do. It's so irrelevant for me to do. Had I said some things and they came out wrong or they came out right, I'm still here. It doesn't matter. People didn't say it worse than what I have done over here off of this One Papoose channel. So get over it. But you said the only one that we can find is where they asked him about the drugs. That's it. I'm gonna see what I want to dig. I want to see though, however though, Sandra, I am very patiently waiting to see the documentary, which should be dropping soon. Yeah. Said that his Bill Cosby documentary will be dropping soon. They're waiting for him to put on the finishing touches of it. So it's completed, but they got to get the Bill Cosby finale on the end of the documentary, and they're ready to release that out to the general population out here. So I can't wait. I want to see that because I think I bought two of Bill Cosby books long time ago, and it was because he was addressing it to the men, so I don't know, I am glad to see that he is home. I'm glad to see that he is home. However, to take, 3 years or so, and to do it, I don't agree with all of the anger that the Me Too people are pushing out there against Mr. Bill Cosby. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that the only people that be attacking in that kind of way is a lot of the people that had dealt with a personal wound from their past, and they can't let it go. So if they can bring their anger out and frustration of what they had went through with someone else or whatever, I think that Bill Cosby and other men are just a target to release that out. Never got therapy, or they just choose to continue to stay angry, and it made it easy for them to digress on it. They brought it out through their energy, by using another person. I guess maybe looking for some healing through that. Those people over there, the ladies, they could have cared less if Bill Cosby passed away in that jail. They didn't care. They had no moral humanity about it at all. And you have to ask yourself, like a lot of the people that was out there rooting, they wanted him still locked up in there. He ain't even done anything to these innocent bystander people. So morally, I have a little bit, I guess, of feelings about that. It makes me angry because I know that you are standing with your friend rights and things like that. But to push it to an extent where, because if this situation happened to your friend and not you, I don't think that you should be standing up there pushing for a death sentence on someone who did not intentionally harm you. I think that if that person who got harmed or allegedly harmed wants to stand there and say, I wish you would die, you're going to have to do that part on your own. I won't rock with you like that, because there's no way that I can associate that I have the same feelings that you have when he didn't do anything to me to that extent. Now, I can stand out here and maybe say, okay, we have the proof. We have the proof or something like that. But because of what you showed me, and his picture is there and your picture is there, and you showing me things to where I know I can believe that you're telling the truth, I might be able to probably just stand out there with you and not say anything because I'm supporting you, because a part of me believe you. But if there's no intentional harm done to me by a particular person, I can't stand out there with you guys to say, lock him up, kill him, hang him from a tree. I can't do that. And, I can't bring myself to do it at all. Not that it doesn't feel right. It's just that it's just not right. He didn't harm me. Some of the battles you're gonna have to fight, fight on your own. I mean, I can probably drive you down there and let you hold your sign up or something like that. So I don't know. That's how all of that stuff works. But let me drop this on you guys, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. And this is about the Ronnie O'Neal case, you guys, because I happened to catch the sentencing part, of the closing argument part of it, you guys. So I have been following it, but I just didn't come out, to talk about it or show it or anything, right? And his closing arguments, oh my God, I'm just sharing the humorous part with you guys because he did get life, I think, without parole, with the possibility of parole. So he is gone, and they didn't declare him crazy or nothing like that, but he's gone. But I know that when he was doing his closing arguments, he was saying he was directing his a piece of his closing arguments to the DA, right, to the prosecutors at the table, right. So the one of the prosecutors, the attorneys, he jumps up and he goes, he had objected to what he was saying because he was like, well, Ronnie O'Neal should be presenting his evidence, his factual statements of what he believed to the juror, and not directly over to the prosecutors. And this is how the prosecutor felt. So the judge was like, Mr. Ronnie, I'm not going to, explain this to you again. All of your evidence and everything has to be presented to the juror. So you guys know that Ronnie O'Neal made a choice to defend himself in a court of law. What you guys think and what I think about how well he did and how he looked, that's your opinion, and you are entitled to it. I don't have nothing bad to say. I feel like if you feel like you want to get up there and defend yourself, then go right ahead. Do I think that he should have had an attorney there? Well, yes, I do. Of course I do. But so the judge was saying that, right? So then he goes, he goes on. Now, you guys got to go watch the closing arguments of it, right? And so the judge was telling him, well, don't do that, And that's where I promise y'all, did this boy stand up there? He gonna do this to the judge. Yeah. And I was like, really, dude? Like, wait a minute now. That is totally just, I just thought that it was so funny because he already knew, I'm going to jail. And in the closing arguments, he did finally admit, I killed Kenyatta. I did it. Okay. So, and I was like, dude, you done did all of this defending yourself and presenting your story like you were completely innocent. You won there. And I'm sure everybody up in there is saying, well, okay, if you didn't kill her, somebody killed her. Who killed her? And he went through the whole trial with all this standing up and and then you wait till you get all the way to the end, especially after he cross-examined his son, and he asked his son about, did I harm you? But we all know that he feel that his son was coerced, that he was, already told what to say, and this is this because the son was adopted, or to the police officer, whatever the family was to him, right? So he sits there and he says, now, son, did I hurt you? And then, I mean, like, seriously, His son sat right on the daggone stand. Of course, he's a minor, so you don't get to see his face or anything. And he said, yes, you did. He goes, well, what did I do to you? And the boy said, well, you stabbed me. Damn it. Like what was he supposed to say? You know what I'm saying? So then after all of that, here he comes with his closing arguments and finally say, you know what? Okay, I killed her. I killed Kenyatta. And I was like, dude, did you really just do all of this to get to the end of this thing to say that you was like, so you guys go check out the closing arguments for Ronnie O'Neal. And I just want you guys to see how he just did the judge, and the judge allowed him to defend himself. You got the whole platform, you got all your paperwork and everything. You're talking to the juror, you're cross-examining people and everything, and you get to the end where he knows he's going down for this one, right? And the judge say, well, you can't do that. And you gonna tell the judge, yeah. I was like, okay, you know what? That was just crazy. You say, no, everything he did was right. Now, he was a smart guy, but that law just don't work for a free man or slave if you are a murderer. But he gave it, Sandra, he gave it his best shot. What you think? Would you agree or no? He gave it his best shot. He was popping his words. I don't care if he was screaming up in the air and doing this. He was popping it though. He was popping it. I mean, you had to be high to believe everything that he was saying, but he was popping it out, but you guys go and check out his closing arguments. It was weird. Then he gonna say, wait a minute though, Sandra. He gonna say, what did she say? Oh God, I just forgot, girl. It said something or whatever, really smart, up in the courtroom. And the judge was very, very patient with him. She gave him all his rights, and go ahead, do what you got to do. And I don't know, but he's gone. He's gone for a mighty long, 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 long time. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't think that, Sandra, that I really, really start noticing a lot of murderers and things going on out here. I probably had to be in my early 40s. I'm like, I didn't realize that it was like this. So it was this horrific out here with crime. I really didn't. I'm like, where have I been? I ain't know. I've never seen Chicago, like that with all of this shooting and stuff like that. Never, girl. So I was like, oh my God, but I don't like sad news. So I don't watch much of it. I guess that's probably why. Leisha, how are you? How are you? I hope that I did not miss anybody. Linnea, I hope Champel, Tammy, all of you guys never trust. Thank you guys for showing up. And I was just going to play it anyway. I didn't expect for anybody to show up, to be perfectly honest with you, because the tables are turning out here. So, but I'm still going to come on. I'm still going to, pop whatever it is that I want to talk about over here. And I know I done kept you guys up too dang on long right now. So you guys get on up out of here. Turn those light bulbs on, and that's why I like to have the panels. Let's ask each other these questions over here, and stuff. But it's hard to get you guys out to your little shells to come and join the panel and have some fun over here. So, what you say, Jason? As real Clary Jane Does. Jason, who told you that? I think you finding all your information out here on the street. You say, no, exactly, Sandra. It has not, it was not like this right here. Not where you just can't go anywhere without, getting shot or anything. That's crazy. You say you can't go home until you leave going away. Well, I've got to be heading out this door no later than 5:30, girl. So I got to fill in for somebody. So it's all good. It's all good. And because I'm a nice person, because I don't have to be there, but I'm a nice person. So I'm like, sure, I'll do you this favor this one time, but I'm sure I'm going to pay for it tomorrow. So, yeah. But thank you guys. Thanks for coming by. So, Leisha, you better always come and have some laughter with me, girl. Come and always, because you know I don't take this stuff to heart to be all upset and stuff like that. I love to laugh, and you know that because you've been here for a long time, laughing it out with me. So, Tammy, you need some sleep. I'm finna try. I'm finna try, you know. But I still hear grandson up. I do. I do. I still hear him up. So, but I don't know. Teddy's knocked out. Y'all know he's old now. So he is knocked out. Teddy is knocked out, y'all. I am going to bed. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button. Don't forget to share the commentary that I just presented to you guys today. Most important, all you guys, the One Papoose channel is sitting at 800 and some change over there. I will appreciate it if you guys can help get that channel up to 1,000. Spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. Let's get the One Papoose channel up to 1,000 subscribers, you guys, so that I as well, because I get my channel so confused with the One Pap and the One Papoose. But for the most of all, the One Papoose is really my main channel, you guys. It's kind of my main channel. So don't forget to get on and get your subscription up on the One Papoose channel by clicking on the button that you see with the red and white by it. It will take you right to the link to get your subscription up and become a One Papoose member over on the YouTube streets and on my channel, and come and laugh and grow with me. With that being said, you guys, I gotta go. Good night. Good night, you guys.